I wake up with a start. I look around the area to notice I am in what looks like a cave. Circular rocks with a table in the middle. There's torches around the table, which, upon closer inspection, has a person sitting on the other side, beckoning me to sit across from him. I take a few steps and see the shadows grow closer to me. Another step, and closer it comes. I then sprint to the center to avoid the torches. Then the shadow stops, just outside the range of the torches. Looking closer to the person, I see a woman cloaked in black. The woman. I say to the woman, "Where am I?" Shakily. "You are in the lair of the Dark Ones," she spoke, quite seriously. "What are the Dark Ones?" I said, confused. "Look around you. Look into the blackness." I did so, and to my astonishment, the shadows that followed me were also cloaked figures, in jet black robes blended perfectly with the shadows I thought they once were. "Why am I here?" I said, gaining a bit more confidence, though I feel dumbfounded. "You are here to learn the truth, so as not to make the mistakes so many others made before you. If you are to make the choice before your life really starts," she said, sounding pridefully about delivering the message I barely understand. I'm 17, 6'5", with shaggy, dirty blonde hair, green eyes my mother always compares to emeralds, though I feel they have much less glittery shine to them. Now, when I think of her message, I think of my decision before my life really starts, as what I shall do with my life when I turn 18 in 4 days. So I ask, what decision? How do you know me? What have others made before me? To which she simply smiled, pulled back her hood, showing a scar going down her face, starting just above the nose, and following down the left side of her face. Between her baby blue eyes and her cute little nose, she was beautiful, vaguely familiar. Serenity, I exclaimed as soon as I recognized her. She was a girl who went to my school. She wasn't quite popular, but she wasn't unpopular either. She seemed pretty well set in the economy, having enough money to get by with a little extra, just above middle class. She had an ominous air about her every time anyone mentioned her scar, even if it was out of earshot of her. "Yes, Keith, I'm glad you remember me." She seemed a bit more cheerful now, seeing as how I claimed to recognize her. Honestly, I never stopped thinking about her, even if it was just in the back of my mind. In truth, I found her fairly attractive, but I still felt strange about surrounded by cloaked figures, once with one familiar face among them. "I will always remember you. You're amazing. But why am I here? What is it that you want from me?" I sounded somewhat desperate by that last question, feeling strangely terrified, not knowing that I was just in the room with complete strangers. But now I'm stuck in a room with around 20 to 25 figures and a girl I like but barely took notice to me. At least I thought she did. "You're here because we want to welcome you to your family of the Dark Ones. You are being invited because of your persuasive nature and expert skills with simple weaponry such as bows and arrows and daggers. Plus," she leans in to whisper into my ear, "you're also an attractive man. The Dark Ones need to know who they shall be with for adulthood so they can make new generations with fairly young generations to teach them." To this she looks at me, blushing, and returns to her seat. I feel flushed with embarrassment as I realize she wants to be with me. Of all the men she knows, she picks me. And how does she know I like to use daggers? I mean, the bow and arrow part I understood. We have archery together, and I'm at the top of the class, but I keep my dagger specialty secret. As many people will find it odd I have about good 300 ceremonial daggers, 1,500 combat knives, and an uncountable amount of odds and end daggers. Either the kind I formed myself, or the kind you find in the ruins of old castles. Of course, having this massive collection, of course I practice with them. How do you know this about me? I said, somewhat stern now. I look at her, and she is about to answer me, when a cloaked figure leaves the shadows and approaches her, telling her something I could not understand. I think it was Greek or Roman or something. She stopped abruptly, and opens her mouth again. We need to depart now. We shall meet again tomorrow at midnight behind the school. Feel free to explore the room. When you wish to leave, simply walk up the shadows and say, "Depart," and you shall be taken back to your home. She does just as she instructed me to, as well as the shadow behind her, and the room lights up brightly to show a horrific sight. The walls are splattered with blood. Hand marks are everywhere. The skeletons litter the area and show where the shadows once were. As I look around, I see a small corner shadow. I walk up to it. "Depart," I spoke nervously.